Hello. If you clicked on this, I really appreciate it. This is my first foray into making YouTube content. Those of you who already know me, which is probably most of the people watching this, I have been a filmmaker for about 7 to 8 years. And on top of that, I have had a few different podcasts where I have really enjoyed speaking about films. We've covered films we like, films we don't like. A lot of my old episodes can be found on Spotify, things like that. But I also really like talking about the Oscars and making Oscars predictions. And I thought it would be really cool since the 2026 Oscars, for the 2025 films just passed about a week ago. As I'm recording this, it is Tuesday, the 24th, really, really early in the morning. So yeah, basically about a week ago, we had the Oscar ceremony, which honored the films of last year, 2025. And we're starting to see people who cover this kind of thing look forward to the films that have yet to come out this year. Although, as you'll see, some of these films have started screening. One of them played at South by Southwest, which was like a week ago, and then one of them is already out. So yeah, most of these films won't be coming out for a while, some over the summer, but most of these will be coming out at the end of the year. But yeah, this is the time of year where the people who are really into this kind of thing start looking forward and maybe postulating which films they think will be contenders by the time we get to the Oscars next year. So yeah, I thought it would be really cool to do that as my first video. And I really appreciate you clicking on and watching this. I don't know kind of how to do this yet. So if I'm talking too fast or, if I'm just weird or whatever, definitely let me know in the comments. I'm really receptive to feedback, especially in this early time of having a channel. And yeah, we're just going to dive right in. I have my 10 films that I'm predicting right now as the 10 Best Picture nominees. We're assuming that there's going to be 10 because they have done 10 for, I don't know, the last decade or so. There's no guarantee that there will be 10. So yeah, every couple of months I'm going to come back and maybe have a new list once I have new information. For this first video, I'm only going to go Best Picture. I think I'll wait until late summer, early fall, if this whole YouTube thing is going well. And that's when I will start covering some of the other categories, like the acting and directing and some of the more technical categories. So yeah, for today, I just want to cover my 10 films that I'm predicting for Best Picture nominations. But before I get into the 10, there are a handful of other films that I think have a chance. There's many that have a chance, but there are 5 that I wish I could fit into my 10, but there's only so many slots. But for one reason or another, they each give me pause, right? So yeah, before we get into the 10, here are my honorable mention Best Picture contenders for this year, 2026. We're going to start with Jack of Spades, which is the upcoming Joel Schumacher film, or not Joel Schumacher, Joel Cohen film. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Joel Cohen, part of the Cohen brothers. This is his follow-up to The Tragedy of Macbeth, the one with Denzel Washington and his wife, Frances McDormand, as Lady Macbeth. For those of you who didn't see it, it was pretty good. It was shot in black and white, very pretty. That was considered an awards frontrunner throughout parts of that year. I want to say that was like 2021, maybe 2022. But yeah, it didn't quite pan out in most of the categories, but Denzel got nominated, and I think Frances McDormand might have gotten nominated. But yeah, I think a cinematography nom, maybe a production design as well. In any case, it didn't win anything. And yeah, this is his follow-up to that. So I don't know too much about it yet. The synopsis says that it is an upcoming American Gothic mystery film, and it stars Josh O'Connor, who's kind of a rising star. He really knows how to pick his projects. And it's got Damian Lewis and Leslie Manville and Frances McDormand. So great cast. Anything the Coen brothers do is going to pique some interest, especially this early in the year when we don't really have much information. I will say I've been really disappointed by their work overall, since they kind of split up and started doing their own thing. More so for Ethan Coen. I thought Macbeth was the best of all of their stuff since they split up. But yeah, I'm really hoping for a return to form here. I don't really know what to make of this. I'm seeing there's kind of some set photos and stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about it yet. You never know. You know, the Coens have it in them to make a great film, but I've yet to see a complete film from either of them, kind of working solo. So that is what gives me pause. But yeah, I mean, as the season goes on, we will see. My next honorable mention is Narnia, the Greta Gerwig film. I know that Netflix is very excited to have a big IP from kind of a rising star. We all saw how great she was with Barbie, which I did quite enjoy. I also love Lady Bird. So, you know, she's shown herself to be a really competent director. There's a decent cast as well. Carey Mulligan, Daniel Craig, which I'm just now finding out, Emma Mackey. Hit or miss for me so far. I think I'm trying not to hold Ella McKay against her. That film just really fucking sucked. Meryl Streep is in this. That's fascinating. So yeah, I mean, great cast, but I don't know. I don't I don't see a Narnia movie being nominated for Best Picture. I mean, I've seen many Narnia films in my life. Um, I just don't see it. You know what I mean? It's Narnia. So I'd be happy to be wrong. I love Greta Gerwig. So, I mean, if it's great, it's great. But what are we doing? You know what I mean? With a Narnia film as a Best Picture nominee. Um, it's just too early for me to put like that in my top 10. But yeah, she did great with Barbie, and that was a big IP. But Narnia just, you know, we've seen a lot of these stories before, so it's going to have to be very special. So as of right now, I can't put it in my top 10. And you'll see as I get into the list, but this year also seems to be very heavy on kind of like mainstream films that have sort of best picture aspirations. You know, normally there's like one, maybe two sort of big tentpole films, like an F1 or a Avatar or something like that. But it seems, and this always changes as the smaller films become more clear in the best picture sort of, you know, picture. But even so, I have a strong feeling that this will be a big year for like tentpole films, and so there's just only so much room, as you'll see with some of the other picks that I have. There's only so many spots for big kind of IP films, and I don't know. I just don't see Oscar voters being as generous to kind of like a children's fantasy series. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, but we'll see. We'll see. Next honorable mention is The Entertainment System is Down. This is the new Ruben Östlund film. He made Triangle of Sadness, which did very well at Cannes, and I think it got some Oscar noms as well the year that it came out. I've actually not seen it, oddly enough, but people seem to really like him. He also made a great film called The Square. I'm not that familiar with anything else he might have made, but he kind of has this dark comedy, kind of black satirical comedy aesthetic, and The Entertainment System is Down is supposed to be kind of the same thing. My understanding is that it's set on like a really long flight where all of the like TVs and entertainment fail, and all of the people on the plane have to like actually interact with each other to keep from being bored or something. But what really gets me is the cast. I mean, this has an amazing cast, and you just know this is the type of movie that it might not get a Best Picture nom when all is said and done, but you're probably going to get a couple supporting actor noms, maybe even a lead actor or actress. But it's one of those movies that a lot of actors have a chance to really showcase themselves, and that can sort of carry a film into the Best Picture race that wouldn't necessarily ordinarily be there, right? So we have Kirsten Dunst, Keanu Reeves, Daniel Bruhl, Nicholas Braun, Woody Harrelson, Julie Delpy. Yeah, it's like one of those ensemble films, and it's bound to be really funny. I'm sure it's gonna cover a lot of sort of in a subtle way what's going on with the world and maybe our attention spans and stuff. So, yeah, the entertainment system is down. I just need more information before I can put it in my top 10, but I wouldn't be shocked if it makes its way in. My fourth honorable mention out of five is Cry to Heaven. This is the new film from Tom Ford. He's like a fashion guy. I don't remember if he worked for Gucci or whoever it was, but anyway, his last film was Nocturnal Animals, which is a film I really like. It says here, Cry to Heaven is a historical drama film, and it's adapted from the novel by Anne Rice. And I believe Anne Rice is like, she makes vampire stuff, vampire novels. I don't know anything about the novel. It looks like it's set in Italy, um, and it's about people trying to succeed in the world of opera. Um, so yeah, I don't know anything about the book, but I know Anne Rice is or was a very famous author. But the cast is crazy. Nicholas Holt, we love Nicholas Holt. He picks really great work. Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was in Nocturnal Animals. Adele's obviously playing an opera singer in this. I've never seen her act before, but the Oscars love to nominate sort of a crossover star, you know, like an Ariana Grande or a Jennifer Hudson, or Lady Gaga, right? So keep your eye on Adele playing probably an opera singer. Kieran Hines, who was just nominated just like 3 years ago for Belfast. Mark Strong, Colin Firth, Paul Bettany, a lot of British actors in here. Hunter Schafer, interesting. I really like Hunter Schafer as an actress. I thought she was really good in Cuckoo, that horror film. I thought the film wasn't very good, but she was awesome in it. Tandy Newton is in it. She's kind of more known for TV. But yeah, I mean, this cast is pretty crazy, and you know it's going to have a really great sort of production. Tom Ford, both of his films look really great that I've seen. Colin Firth is in the other one. I can't remember what it's called, but it was great. It was really good. So yeah, I'm definitely thinking that this could be a Best Picture contender, but again, I just don't have a lot of information yet, so I'm not going to put it in there yet. And my last honorable mention is Fjord, which is a drama film from Christian Mungwai. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He is Norwegian, it looks like, or Swedish. But yeah, I don't know anything about this person. But the reason I put it in my top is because of two things. One, on Awards Expert, it's considered like one of the most likely nominees. And so this early in the landscape, it's kind of, you have to go with knowledge that other people have that you might not have. But also, it stars Sebastian Stan and Renate Reinsve, who both have been getting a lot of love for their acting lately. Renate Reinsve just was nominated for Best Actress for her work in Sentimental Value. And we all know Sebastian Stan. He, you know, does all those Marvel movies, but he was also really good in that movie where he played Donald Trump. I can't remember what it was called, but you know, that got some nominations. And he was also in A Different Man. And I believe he got like a Golden Globe. He either won or was nominated for that. So yeah, I mean, great performers playing the leads. And let's see, the synopsis is the Georgiou family, with a Romanian father and Norwegian mother, have moved to the mother's birthplace, a remote Norwegian village, and befriended the neighboring Halberg family. When the I'm not going to say their name. When the family are suspected of disturbing behavior regarding their children, their lives are thrown into chaos as they become the center of scrutiny. I mean, yeah, that sounds really interesting to me. Let's see. This writer director made a film. He won the Palme d'Or in 2007. That was quite a long time ago. but that's a big deal for a movie called 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days. Um, I don't know what that's about. Sounds like it could be about an abortion or something, but really have no idea. He has also won awards for Best Screenplay and Best Director at the 2012 and 26 Cannes Film Festival for Beyond the Hills and Graduation. I haven't seen any of these things, but I mean, the film nerds, the real film nerds, seem to really like his work. I mean, he's won the Palme d'Or and he's won many other things. Doesn't look like he has a ton of work under his belt, just a handful of films. Um, but they've all done really well, at least internationally, with getting recognition. So, yeah, I don't have enough information to put this in my top 10 yet, but I'm sure it's going to be playing at Cannes again this year. That seems to be where he premieres his films. Um, so, yeah, maybe in a few months, once Cannes happens, we'll have more information, um, and I can put it in my top 10. But yeah, Fjord looks good. Those are my 5 honorable mentions. We're going to go right into my 10. Um, these are my 10 picks as of right now, which again is late March. So very, very early. My number 10 pick is the untitled Jesse Eisenberg musical comedy. Jesse Eisenberg is coming off of A Real Pain, which either won or was nominated. I think it won. I don't remember, but it was nominated for Best Original Screenplay. And we all know that Kieran Culkin won Best Supporting Actor for that. I have my own thoughts about who was more deserving of an actor nom, and it wasn't him. But yeah, the film was very well received. I liked it, but I wasn't quite sure that it was worthy of quite as much acclaim as it got. But I love Jesse Eisenberg. I love him as an actor, and yeah, I like his body of work so far. He has a great book called Breams Gives Me the Hiccups, and he also has another film that I haven't seen, um, when you finish saving the world, which is supposed to be pretty good as well. So he's sort of a rising star in this space. But what's fascinating is that it's a musical and it's got an amazing cast of Julianne Moore, who was in his first film, the Saving the World. It's got Paul Giamatti. It's got Halle Bailey. You know, she played the Little Mermaid, and I thought she was actually very good in that. Havana Rose Liu. I only really know her from Bottoms, but I'm sure she's in some other stuff. Um, let's see here. I don't recognize any of these other people. Bernadette Peters. I mean, I guess we all know Bernadette Peters. Um, oh, it's got Cara Buono as well. Yes, she plays the Wheeler's mom in Stranger Things, but she's listed really low here on the list, so I'm guessing she's not in it that much. But the premise is a shy woman is unexpectedly cast in a local production of an original musical. Under the spell of the strong-willed and enigmatic director, she loses herself in the role in the high-stakes world of this community theater production. I mean, yeah, Jesse Eisenberg is a neurotic motherfucker, and all of his characters are always neurotic, and you know there's going to be good, sort of real, relatable dialogue. And yeah, Julianne Moore's probably playing a shy woman, and I'm guessing Paul Giamatti is this enigmatic director, and then you've got probably these other castmates of the show, Halle Bailey and Havana Rose Liu and Bernadette Peters. But very importantly, it's distributed by A24, and we know A24 pretty damn good. So yeah, I mean, there's just not enough information. We don't even have a title yet, but I mean, he's an Oscar nominee. And his last film was very well received. This has an amazing cast and a very interesting premise, and it's distributed by A24. So that is enough for me to put it in the 10 for now. It might be too weird, you know, that's my concern. That's why it's not lower on the list or higher, depending on sort of what you think about that. But it might just be a little bit too weird, you know. It's a musical and it seems a little niche. So maybe it will be one of the year's best. Maybe it will kind of fade away a little bit, you know. Emma Stone is a producer on it as well, which is fascinating because it doesn't appear that she's in the film at all. And her husband Dave McCary is also a producer. So yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of really, really talented people in a cool, unique story. So number 10 was the Jesse Eisenberg musical comedy. Number 9, I Love Boosters. I've been very excited about I Love Boosters, so maybe this is more of like what we call a hope diction, you know, hope dicting, letting my own personal excitement about a film propel it up. I have no real basis for it being a Best Picture contender, but I loved Sorry to Bother You, which was the last film from Boots Riley, who was also one of the founders of the hip hop group The Coup from the 90s, who I also like. But yeah, the trailer really hit, and I know it got really great reception at South by Southwest. But I really can't say anything for sure until I see it, you know. Same thing that kind of happened with Sorry to Bother You. It had a little bit of awards buzz, but it was just too weird, you know. But another great cast: Will Poulter, Keke Palmer, Lakeith Stanfield is back, Taylor Page, Alexa Demi, who I don't really know for sure, but I think maybe she's in Euphoria. She looks familiar to me. Demi Moore plays like the villain, I think. Naomi Aki. Naomi Aki's in a bunch of stuff, but she was really good in Sorry Baby most recently. And she was in a movie called Blink Twice, which was good. Poppy Liu, Eliza Gonzalez. So great, very diverse cast. Adam Devine is in it as well, or Devine. He's a Nebraskan like me. I should probably know how to spell his name. But yeah, I Love Boosters is about like professional shoplifting. And if you haven't seen the trailer yet, I would definitely recommend it. It's very colorful, very bright. You can feel the sort of satirical tone already. I'm sure it's going to be more than just about, you know, shoplifting and fashion, as Sorry to Bother You was. There's more below the surface. But yeah, Boots Riley, he's just very imaginative. And the fact that Neon is one of the production companies tells me that they really value his creative voice. And therefore I should too, because Neon, if you aren't aware, basically has been producing and or distributing like all the best movies. All the Oscar winners seem to be Neon lately, all the Cannes Palme d'Or winners. So yeah, having Neon involved is fascinating to me. And yeah, that trailer is good, but it might be a little too weird, and it is coming out quite early in the year. So yeah, for those reasons, I can't have it higher. Don't be surprised if it falls off the list as the year goes on. But I'm very hopeful, and yeah, it's my list, so I'm gonna do what I want. Moving on, number 8, the new sci-fi epic from Steven Spielberg, Disclosure Day. Yeah, the Disclosure Day trailer has been all over the internet the last couple of weeks. It does look interesting. We know who Steven Spielberg is. We know what he does. He's one of the all-time greats, especially when he's in his sci-fi bag, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T. You know, he knows what he's doing. This is actually giving kind of like Shyamalan to me. It's like the reason why it's not higher is because there's just something odd about the trailer. You know, Josh O'Connor's in it, and we love him. Another Colin Firth performance. I mean, the cast is wild. Emily Blunt is as the co-lead, at least it appears from the trailer. Coleman Domingo, Wyatt Russell, Elizabeth Marvel. I mean, yeah, just some wrestlers are in this too. That's fascinating. I guess I don't know enough about it, but I'm looking at the cast, and there are professional wrestlers. There might be a scene that takes place in wrestling, because I'm also seeing a referee played by Chavo Guerrero. So I guess I need to read more about it. That didn't come up in the trailer. But yeah, there's just some weird feeling to the trailer. The crop circles and some of the imagery. It feels like it could end up being a bad script. David Koepp or Kopp, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's a very successful screenplay writer, but he's incredibly hit or miss as well. It says he's the fourth most successful screenwriter of all time at the box office. He has written Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park: The Lost World, um, Carlito's Way, the first Mission Impossible, the first Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi one. He's written and directed some things. Most of those suck. I have a soft spot for Stir of Echoes, which he wrote and directed. Um, but he has been on a bit of a cold streak lately. He wrote Cold Storage, which I saw a couple of months ago, starring Joe Keery, and it was fun but not very good. From a novel of his. He also wrote Jurassic World Rebirth, which I haven't seen, but doesn't look good, and I've heard that it's not good. He also wrote Presence, the Steven Soderbergh horror film, which is a fascinating movie, but quite bad as well in a lot of ways. He did write The Black Bag, which was very good and a kind of a breath of fresh air. But prior to that, he wrote Dial of Destiny, and he wrote the 2017 Mummy, and he wrote the Ron Howard Dan Brown film Inferno. So like at least in the last decade or so, he's mostly written not good things, even though he is apparently iconic. So I'm a little nervous seeing his name attached, just from the stuff I've seen recently. But yeah, I mean, the trailer does look good. It looks fascinating. It looks like Steven Spielberg is going to have a real great handle on the visuals. I just don't quite understand the appeal of the story yet. It hasn't hit me as something that's gonna have some sort of like significant appeal. It doesn't seem like a Nolan film, right? Like an Interstellar. Um, it doesn't seem heady enough for something like that. Again, this is all speculation. If you're excited, by all means, but it also doesn't seem to have like this grounded sort of natural sort of texture that you saw from like some of his earlier films, like Close Encounters and stuff like that. Sorry, it's like 3 a.m, so the garbage truck is driving. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this yet, but it is Steven Spielberg. It's a big sci-fi epic. I mean, he can get nominated making anything. So it's one of those things where I'm hedging my bets and I'm keeping it in the top 10, but at the first sign of trouble, I'm gonna take it out, and we won't have to wait that long because it comes out in like less than 3 months. So yeah, Disclosure Day, number 8. Number 7 is All of a Sudden by Ryusuke Hamaguchi. For those of you who aren't aware, he made Drive My Car a few years ago, which is a great film, very long. But he has made many other films, all of which are good. Yeah, I like him. I never finished it, but he has a really long Japanese film called Happy Hour, which I do find really, really good. One of these days I want to finish it. But his last film was Evil Does Not Exist, which won the Grand Jury Prize at Venice and was kind of an early Oscar hopeful, but I think it was just a little alienating at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, he seems to be kind of an up and comer sort of. He'll be hovering around the awards conversations for the foreseeable future. And All of a Sudden is a French film. So he co-wrote it with another writer who's French, and it is based on the nonfiction book You and I, The Illness Suddenly Get Worse by Makiko Miyano and Maho Isono. And yeah, here we go. It's about a director of a nursing home in the Parisian suburbs attempting to introduce a humane care technique known as humanitude in spite of resistance. Her life is changed when she meets a terminally ill Japanese playwright named Mari Morisaki. So, yeah, this film is going to probably crush people. It's about somebody who's terminally ill, and yeah, it looks like maybe there's some resistance there between this woman who maybe is wanting to die her way, and then this woman who, yeah, maybe she means well, but humanitude, that sounds kind of culty to me. So I don't know. I mean, this is the kind of thing that's really going to hedge from its performances. I don't recognize the two leads. Virginie Efira, she's French, plays the nursing home lady. And then Teo Okamoto plays Mari Morisaki. Um, she's very, very good looking. She's a model. She's young. That's interesting. So this woman who's terminally ill is young, and I think that matters. Yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot to go off of, but it sounds like it's gonna be really depressing. And if the performances are good, seems exactly like the kind of thing that the Oscars voting body would eat up. And yeah, Ryusuke has a good track record of late. His films have been getting a lot of acclaim. So this is kind of one of my out on a limb things, but I feel confident enough to keep it in the top 10 for now. But it might kind of come and go a little bit, just like his last film did. So yeah, that was number 7. Number 6, Project Hail Mary. As of my recording of this, I saw Project Hail Mary, let's see here, like 5 days ago, and I did enjoy it. I thought it was really good, but for me personally, it doesn't seem like something that is going to be worthy of an Oscar by the time more films come out. You know, perhaps I'm wrong. I've seen 12 films this year and it's my second favorite. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's what I was talking about when I was speaking on Narnia, the Greta Gerwig film, is that there's a lot of sort of more mainstream appeal films that are getting heavy Oscar buzz this early. I mean, there's a lot of great, I shouldn't say a lot. There are usually many great mainstream films a year, but a lot of people kind of recognize that that's not really what the Oscars are, right? Like you have an Avengers Endgame, right? Like nobody was really thinking that that would get a Best Picture nomination or a win, even though it had mass appeal and most people reviewed it well, right? So this is kind of along the same lines of some of these other films that I haven't spoken about yet, which are bigger, that should do really well at the box office, but that I would be more confident in. You know, I can see, depending on how the competition is in the acting category, I can see Gosling slipping in there. I'd be shocked, but I can see it. I can see an adapted screenplay nom because the book is very well loved and the writer Andy Weir is very well loved. The Martian was also adapted from a book of his. Yeah, Project Hail Mary, the book, was a finalist for the Hugo Award in 2022, which is like the top award for like science fiction books. Yeah, I can see maybe some acting prospects here. And then obviously this will be a tech thing, right? So that might be what carries it into, if it's not a stacked field, those techs might carry it into a Best Picture nom, right? Like it's got a chance at cinematography, it's got a chance at production design, at sound. You know, people love a space movie. A space movie and a race car movie is like an easy way to get like at least 3 Oscar noms for your movie, especially if you do it well. And this movie is good. I think it's a little long. I think it's a little saccharine. Um, but yeah, I mean, people seem really high on it so far. So I'm going to leave it in for now. But from a personal taste standpoint, I don't see it being as good as a lot of these other ones. But yeah, number 6, Project Hail Mary, which takes us into the top 5, right? These are the 5 that, unless one of them gets reviewed incredibly poorly, that I doubt will leave my top 10 throughout the rest of the year. And so, yeah, we're in the top 5 now. Basically, all of these are made by powerhouse filmmakers, and a lot of them are getting a lot of buzz already. So, yeah, without further ado, number 5, Wild Horse 9, which is a black comedy film written and directed by Martin McDonagh. We all know Martin McDonagh. He made most recently The Banshees of Inisherin, which was nominated for some Oscars. It was very good. But prior to that, he made 7 Psychopaths and 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, and In Bruges. So yeah, he's also a really well respected playwright in his own right. Pillow Man, Lieutenant of Inishmore, Cripple of Inishman. Great writer. He's definitely a better writer than a director, in my opinion. But that's basically a guaranteed screenplay nom, especially if you saw the trailer that just came out. It stars John Malkovich and Sam Rockwell, and also incredibly well-respected actors. But it looks like the kind of movie that the Oscars will love. It's dark but funny, and it's probably going to be violent, which are like the three things that most of his films have. um, but yeah, I think the Oscars are going to love a chance to give John Malkovich a best lead actor nom, because he's getting up there in age, and it's been a long time since he's really been in anything high profile quite like this. So yeah, I can see an actor nom for him. I can see Sam Rockwell either for actor or supporting actor. It's got Steve Buscemi, Tom Waits, Parker Posey. Um, yeah, I mean, the cast is great, and the trailer looks fun and interesting. It's set on Easter Island in the 70s, and it's like a CIA thing, and you've got this sort of like buddy comedy thing, which that recurs a lot in his films, right? You have like two people who are having a falling out of some kind, or there's a disconnect there, but there's also like a love, right? Like the dynamic of these characters reminds me a lot of In Bruges, only they seem to be closer in age. So yeah, it was giving kind of an In Bruges vibe. But yeah, his films tend to have a lot of bite to them. The trailer really appealed to me, and yeah, I think the Oscars are going to eat this shit up like they have his last few films. So right now I've got it at 5. Number 4 is The Social Reckoning. Now, this is the film that I'm the most excited about personally. I'm a huge Aaron Sorkin fan. I think he's one of the greatest screenwriters of all time. He wrote The Social Network. Um, he wrote the last few films that he directed as well, but he's really famous for his screenplays, right? He's really famous for writing sort of about political things or adapting um, nonfiction, right? He created The West Wing and The Newsroom, which are both really highly acclaimed TV shows. He wrote A Few Good Men. He wrote The Farnsworth Invention. He wrote Moneyball, Steve Jobs. All of these were nominated for screenplays, I'm sure. A lot of them were. He recently made Trial of the Chicago 7 and Being the Ricardos. And here's the thing. He is a fine director, right? But he's not as good of a director as he is a writer, and his films lack a sort of artistic touch that you would love to see, right? Something like the Social Network, which is his best script, was directed by David Fincher. And I feel if David Fincher were coming back for the sequel, we would be hearing a lot more about this. But seeing his name attached as director, I think, has scared some people away because his other films kind of have quite a plain look to them. But I'm very excited. I'm excited because of the premise, and I'm very excited because of the cast, right? It stars Mikey Madison, who is only like 2 years removed from winning Best Actress for Anora. It stars Jeremy Strong, who's been nominated for Best Supporting Actor at least once, maybe twice in the last few years. He was also in that Trump movie. He's going to get awards buzz because he's Jeremy Strong. He's a little fucking freak, but he's amazing. Jeremy Allen White. Everybody loves Jeremy Allen White, Shameless, The Bear. He also almost got a nom probably for Deliver Me from Nowhere. Bill Burr, Wumi Musaku, who also just got nominated for Best Supporting Actress for Sinners. Billy Magnuson, who's in a ton of great films. He's more of a comedic kind of guy, though. And then it's got Betty Gilpin in it. We all love Betty Gilpin. She was in that great show, Killing Eve, I think, right? Or was that her? I don't remember if that was her, but she was also in Glow, which was great. So let's see here. This is what I'm really curious about. The cinematography is huge, right? The cinematographer is Jeff Cronenworth. He did shoot Tron Ares, which is cool. And he did shoot Being the Ricardos, which looked kind of plain. I never saw A Million Little Pieces. He shot Gone Girl. Gone Girl looked awesome, so that's something. He did shoot the original Social Network, so even though David Fincher's not involved in this one, he looks like he's worked with him a few times. He shot The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and Fight Club. So the fact that a cinematographer this good is involved is definitely interesting to me. I'm less nervous. Alexandre Desplat, I don't know how to pronounce his name, is doing the score. We love him, right? He made the Grand Budapest Hotel score and The Shape of Water, which he won best score for both. But he also did The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, The King's Speech, Argo, Isle of Dogs, Little Women, some of the Harry Potters. So like, the score is going to be great. I'm more optimistic about this than previous Aaron Sorkin directorial films, right? The fact that he wrote the script is enough for me, but the fact that he's working with such great talent, this is easily his most stacked cast. Great cinematographer, great composer. But let's get to the story really quick. I know I'm spending a lot of time on this one, but this is my most highly anticipated film of 2026. The Social Network is a very important film to me, but when I found out about this film, I did a little bit of digging, and here's what Wikipedia says. It is a companion piece to The Social Network, and it is based around the events surrounding the 2021 Facebook leak by whistleblower Frances Haugen. Haugen is played by Mikey Madison. She looks nothing like the original person. She's also a lot younger, but whatever. It's Mikey Madison. Anyway, this whistleblowing covered by Wall Street Journal's article series 8-part podcast, The Facebook Files, which I just listened to. I listened to all 8 episodes. They're about 20 to 25 minutes long. I listened to all 8 of them over the last week, and there's some gruesome stuff in there. So I'm not sure quite what they're going to emphasize, because there's a lot of stuff that Facebook came under fire for, right? And you may all remember during 2021 those iconic sort of memeable clips of Mark Zuckerberg being interviewed by Congress, and everybody was joking about him being a lizard person. And anyway, this is going to cover that, right? So like, imagine Jeremy Strong playing Mark Zuckerberg. You have like the perfect person to play an older Mark Zuckerberg, right? Jeremy Allen White is playing Jeff Horowitz, who wrote the book, The Facebook Files, which is about this whistleblowing Facebook leak, right? So he's playing a character he's playing the writer of the book that the film's adapted from, which is fascinating to me. But anyway, this is some crazy shit, right? The Social Network covered the founding of Facebook, and now we're talking over 10 years after the fact. We're talking 15 years after the events of the first one. We have an equally, if not better, person playing Mark Zuckerberg, somebody definitely equally equipped to play him, if not more so. And you have Sorkin with his dialogue is going to it's going to be so sticky and amazing. So anyway, some of the things that happened in this leak are Facebook being proven to have been aware of all kinds of malpractice, right? One of the episodes of the podcast, the first one, I believe, covers them basically removing restrictions for like important people and basically allowing them to post whatever they want, and basically being caught doing this. It's going to, I'm sure the film will cover their Facebook's role in the insurrection, right? Because there's a whole episode all about the lead up to the insurrection. And I don't want to spoil too much, because every episode kind of covers a different thing, right? There's a bunch of stuff about body image, right? Facebook was doing a bunch of research, and they basically discovered that Instagram is responsible for young teenage girls feeling worse about themselves. They did like extensive testing to that effect. And upon finding out this information, they kind of just did nothing about it. So that's just like one of many other things. So yeah, it's like Facebook is evil. We know this. A lot of us still use it because, whatever. And I'm really curious to see what goes on here. You know what I mean? Who's Bill Burr playing? Who's Billy Magnuson playing? Are they going to be Facebook employees? Um, I'm really curious about this. It's very exciting times. I don't know if the world wants another social network type movie, but I want one, and I think the Oscars are going to like it. I think it's going to get screenplay. It's probably going to get actor. Jeremy Strong's going to get actor. Um, it'll probably get a couple other things. You could see maybe a production design. I feel like the Oscars have been rewarding at least one, sometimes two sort of modern film, right? Because you forget, but like doing a modern film, especially if it's supposed to be set at Facebook, requires like an extensive amount of research, figuring out how things looked and making it look authentic and stuff. So I can see that. I can see the score. Desplat gets nominated like every year. So um, yeah, maybe this is the year Sorkin gets a director nom. That would be new for him. But I think it could sneak into Best Picture. It should be far better than Trials of the Chicago Seven, which I did like. It should be better than Being the Ricardos, and both of those were in the conversations for a Best Picture nom, basically all the way through to the end of the year. And I have no reason to believe this won't be better than those, just given all the information we have. So, yeah, number four was The Social Reckoning. Number three, Digger, the Alejandro Iñárritu film starring Tom Cruise. We don't know much about this yet, but they released a poster recently and a little teaser clip. And yeah, I mean, it's Alejandro Iñárritu. He's like a walking Oscar nom. He won Best Director at the Oscars in back-to-back years for Birdman and then The Revenant, and I believe he's the only person to ever do that. Um, his films have been nominated for Best Picture a handful of times. He made 21 Grams, Amores Perros, Babel, Beautiful, Birdman, The Revenant, even Bardo recently. That's his last film. A lot of people consider it to be kind of confusing and a little self-indulgent, but it did end up with a cinematography nom. So yeah, he's one of the most highly acclaimed living directors. He has 5 Academy Awards, and this is his first film in 4 years. And it's a dark comedy. We're getting a lot of dark comedies. I don't know if that says something about the world we're in right now. Um, but yeah, another crazy cast, man. It's Tom Cruise, Jesse Plemons. Maybe he'll finally get that nom. Maybe he'll get supporting actor. Maybe they'll give him a makeup nom because they absolutely robbed him of Best Actor for Begonia. You got Sandra Huller, who's also in Project Hail Mary, and she's in another film called Rose, and she's in another film called 1949, which is a Pawlowski film. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be a crazy year for her. But look at this, Riz Ahmed, one of the most underrated actors working today. He's just gold in everything he touches. Um, you got Sophie Wilde, Emma Darcy. Emma Darcy, she plays she they. I'm not quite sure. Well, anyway, Emma Darcy plays Rhaenyra. Is that her name in the House of the Dragons? Michael Stuhlbarg is going to be in it, and John Goodman. Again, one of, if not the best cast, right? This rivals the cast of The Social Reckoning, the Jesse Eisenberg film, two of the other films that we're about to say. Yeah, amazing cast. Iñárritu is literally a walking Oscar nom. And yeah, it says the most powerful man in the world races to prove he is humanity's savior before the disaster he unleashes destroys everything. Yeah, I mean, without a trailer, the concept is hard to wrap my head around just based off of that. Um, but I love Tom Cruise. I know people have their opinions about him. I love him. I think this seems like a return to form for Iñárritu as well. Um, so yeah, Digger. I think most people have it as their like most highly likely Best Picture nominee. I don't have it quite up there yet, but we'll see. I'm feeling very confident about Digger. Comes out in October. Now, number two and number one, I'm going back and forth on these, but I'm gonna do Dune Part Three as my number two, which for people who pay attention, that kind of makes it obvious what my number one is. But for Dune Part Three, The trailer just came out a few days ago. It looks insane. We're gonna get another amazing Hans Zimmer score. Um, but it's Denis, you know what I mean? Denis is the guy, you know what I mean? A lot of people are gonna say, no, it's Nolan, right? And again, we're gonna get there. Spoilers. Denis is the guy who makes big, epic blockbuster films that are more interesting than the average, right? And I agree. I'm a Denis guy. If I had to choose, I'd go Denis, right? He made Arrival, Blade Runner 2049. I don't think Nolan has a film that's even touching those. But at the end of the day, it is an adaptation of kind of a lesser respected of the Frank Herbert Dune novels. A lot of people don't really care for Dune Messiah. Um, and so I think that's got a lot to do with it. It's going to get a lot of the text, but there's been an interesting trend, right? With Dune, the first Dune came out kind of in an early post-COVID times, and it was like a day and date release, or maybe it came to streaming really quickly, but it didn't make that much money, and people were concerned that they wouldn't be able to make more. But it got a bunch of Oscar noms. It got like 10 maybe. And then Dune 2 came out, doubled the box office of Dune Part 1, and then only got like some noms. It got less. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm going to say like 5. And I don't think it won any. Maybe it won one of them. But the first Dune won a couple. And so we could be following that trajectory, right? Where it makes the most money, which I do think it will. I think this will probably crack 1 billion. But will it do poorly? Or are we gonna see a Lord of the Rings trajectory, right? Where the first one got a lot of noms, the second one didn't really get very many, and then the third one was Return of the King, which got a bajillion of them. So this could go all kinds of ways, but people are very excited about the trailer. Brian K. Vaughan co-wrote the screenplay, which he did not do for parts 1 and 2. That's really interesting to me. He's a great writer. He created many good comics, Ex Machina, Y the Last Man, Runaways. He wrote Lost as well. What else did he do? Brian K. Vaughan. I think he made oh yeah, Saga. So like he's well known for comics, but he's done some great film stuff too. Um I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken. I'm seeing mainly comics here. Anyway, Brian K. Vaughan's a great writer. I'm fascinated that he's involved in this. Maybe Denis was having trouble adapting. I'm not quite sure. But Denis and Brian K. Vaughan, the film stars obviously Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Jason Momoa, Florence Pugh, Rebecca Ferguson, although I heard she's only in like one scene. Charlotte Rampling, Anya Taylor-Joy, Robert Pattinson, and Javier Bardem. So again, one of the best casts, if not the best, with Digger, Social Reckoning, um, you know, the Jesse Eisenberg movie. Some of these films have insane ensembles. But yeah, just from the looks of the trailer, it's hard to have this any lower. If you have it at 1, I completely understand. This is probably my second most anticipated film of 2026. Yeah, I'd love to see it win Best Picture if it's good. And then obviously, if you're paying any attention, that would make number 1 The Odyssey. I think people are really excited about this. It's got, Anne Hathaway. It's got Matt Damon in the leads. It's got Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, Charlize Theron. Um, I mean, that cast is wild. I'm going to say it again in case you missed it, but Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya, Charlize Theron. It's shot by Hoyt van Hoytema, who shot Arrival. He also shot Oppenheimer and won Best Cinematography for that. He shot Nope for Jordan Peele, which looked amazing. He shot Tenet and Dunkirk and Interstellar, all for Nolan as well. So they have a great rapport. He shot Spectre. He shot The Fighter. Um, yeah, I mean, he's great. Maybe he didn't do Arrival. He didn't do Arrival. I lied. He did Interstellar though, which looked even better, arguably. Um, yeah, I mean, he can shoot a fucking movie, so this is gonna rival. I mean, it's a two-horse race, really. Depending on how Digger comes out, maybe three, but it's gonna be the Odyssey or Dune for best cinematography. They're probably both gonna get best adapted screenplay nominations. I'm a little bit more confident in the Odyssey for a nom because it's a more adaptable book. The Dune books are notoriously complex, and the Odyssey is not complex. But I would say I would give it the edge there, at least not having seen the films. Great ensemble, probably going to get best casting because you have to figure there's going to be all these huge scenes with like a bunch of like Roman soldiers or Greek soldiers or whatever the hell, and a bunch of it's like it's like a Wes Anderson film, right? Like a lot of these people are probably not going to be in it very much, like Tom Holland, Lupita Nyong'o, Charlize Theron. Like you're talking people who might be in a couple scenes, right? So like best casting for sure. It's gonna get a nom there. It's gonna get a score nom. Let's see who's doing the score. Oh, Ludwig Göransson, right? That guy is like a walking best composer nominee, right? So he just won for Sinners, and he won not that long ago before that for let's see here. I know he did the Black Panther one, and he did Oppenheimer, right? Which also I believe he won for. So he's got like three best score wins like in the last decade alone. So yeah, it's gonna get a nom. I still feel like Hans Zimmer is winning over him. I just think that Dune score is going to be insane. But you're looking at two. I'm thinking the Social Reckoning is going to get nom. Project Hail Mary might. Disclosure Day might. Right. You're looking at probably the two front runners for most things between this and Dune. Um, like I said, I give this the edge in maybe casting. I give this the edge in cinematography. Actually, that one's tough, right? You're probably going to see Nolan get a director nom again. But here's the thing, he just won director and picture and like a billion other things for Oppenheimer. So I think that does hurt it winning some of these. But it can only help it with a nom, right? Christopher Nolan pre Oppenheimer was like on the fringes, right? He made these big blockbusters that everybody loved, but he wasn't like an Oscar guy. But now he's like officially in the club, right? So I think he'll probably get a nom for almost everything he makes here on out. Um, but I don't know. As far as winning goes, it's way too early to call. It's way too early to call. But yeah, I think this will probably get 12 to 15 nominations, right? The Sinners thing's kind of an anomaly, right? 16, I don't think we can count on another film getting that anytime soon. But I think the best films usually get about 10, 12, 13. So I think this is easily going to get a dozen, right? It'll get a best picture nom, a best director nom. I don't think it'll get an acting nom. I feel like most actors do not get nominated for Nolan films, right? Like Oppenheimer was an outlier. I think outside of Oppenheimer, he probably doesn't have any other acting noms in any of his films, maybe one or two. But like Oppenheimer, you saw Cillian Murphy, you saw Robert Downey Jr., you saw Emily Blunt probably. So you got to get at least three in one movie. But I'm sure that very few, if any, other actors have ever gotten nominated for him, right? Like his films don't lend themselves to standout acting performances because there's so much more about the plot and the concept and the visuals. So I think maybe he'll get an actor in if Anne Hathaway is particularly good, if Matt Damon's particularly good. I think it'll be probably one of them. I don't know who anybody else is playing, so it's kind of hard to say. Um, but yeah, I don't see it getting any acting noms. I think that's what's going to hurt it from being like a potential record breaker, right? But you got director, you got picture, you got adapted screenplay, you got cinematography, score, production design, editing, sound. Um, Casting. So you got at least nine that it could win. Maybe or yeah, maybe it won't get 10. If it gets an acting nom, hey, I am back. Sorry about that. I don't know. My computer just turned off. So um whoops. Anyway, yeah, The Odyssey strikes me as the big Oscar film this year. I think it's going to be performing a lot like Oppenheimer did, but because of the way that Oppenheimer performed, and because that was kind of a less competitive year than I think this will be, I don't see it coming away with nearly as many wins. Right, so off the top of my head, again, this is all incredibly speculative. I've only seen one of these films. Yeah, I'm gonna go Odyssey 11 noms. Dune, I'm going to say 8 or 9. Digger, I'm going to also say about 7 or 8. Social Reckoning, 5. Wild Horse, 9. 5. Project Hail Mary, 3. All of a Sudden, 3. Disclosure Day, 1. Maybe 2. I Love Boosters. Realistically, it's probably not getting anything, but I'm going to say Best Picture nom just for fun. Jesse Eisenberg musical comedy, probably get a few as well, maybe 3 or 4. Probably a screenplay, maybe a director nom for him, maybe an acting nom or two. Yeah, and then again, you have some honorable mentions in there. Any one of those could easily make a run at Best Picture, and then of course there are dozens of other films that are all sort of being speculated on. And yeah, it's fun, but also nerve wracking. We're just so early in the year. There's really no way of knowing how any of this will play out. Maybe the Odyssey will not get it very many at all. Maybe people will see it and not like it. I highly doubt that. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, big year for movies. I don't know that it's quite going to reach the heights of 2025, but we are seeing a lot of big, sort of spectacle driven potential nominees, right? The Odyssey is going to be huge. That was like a $250 million budget. Dune was probably close to 200 million. Digger was probably like 100 million. The Social Reckoning was probably between 80 and 100 million. Project Hail Mary, we know, is like 150 million. Disclosure Day is probably 150 million. So you're seeing all these big blockbuster type movies. And box office is not normally as important, but when you're looking at movies that are like expected to do well at the box office, it does have more of a more weight, let's say, as it would for another movie, right? So the Odyssey that underperforms, which I highly doubt it will, that could hurt it. Same with Dune, same with Project Hail Mary, which, that's doing very well so far. So, yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of bigger movies get Best Picture noms this year. But I think it's kind of like it was this last year with One Battle After Another and Sinners. I think we're looking at a 2 horse race with the Odyssey and Doom Part 3. I think Digger could slip in there and get a lot of love. It's just hard to say with Digger. It's a different thing than what Iñárritu normally does. He does like really sad movies usually, besides Birdman. So like the last time he went for funny or dark funny, it did very well, right? And maybe there is an interesting visual element because most of his films look really, really good. So, maybe it will pull on some texts that I'm just not really expecting. So it could be kind of a 3 horse race. Digger could be kind of like a Hamnet, or Marty Supreme and get a bunch of noms. But yeah, I think we're gonna see kind of the same few films um, really dominated the Oscars. And yeah, I'm really excited for some of these. If I had to pick what I think will win Best Picture, my prediction is Digger or Wild Horse 9. I think the Odyssey and Dune just feel like because the Oscars are weird. They don't always pick the most entertaining film or the most spectacle driven. So I think we might see that. I think we might see Dune and Odyssey get a lot of noms and then not win Best Picture. So I'm gonna lock my prediction for Best Picture winner in as Digger for now, as of March of 2026. We'll see how I feel come summertime when I record this again. Um, yeah, I'm very excited for most of these. I'm most excited for The Social Reckoning and for Dune Part 3 and for Digger and for I Love Boosters. So yeah, definitely if you're still here, I really appreciate you listening to me ramble. This is a lot of information. A lot of it's kind of boring to some people, but not to me, and hopefully not to you. So yeah, let me know what you think. Give me your 10 Best Picture nominee predictions in the comments. Tell me why I'm stupid for having in what I had in, or tell me why I'm not. I love being told that I'm not stupid. Yeah, that's it for this first video. I really appreciate it. And as always, this is my first one. Any suggestions, any criticisms, any observations, please let me know. I don't have a setup yet. I'm not even using my camera. I want to get this room set up a little bit more, have some film posters, use a camera, get some better lighting going. I want to do all that for you. I really do, but it's a big time investment for something that may or may not take off at all. So we're going to slowly work our way into that kind of thing. But yeah, I appreciate you sticking with me. And yeah, have a good day, and have a good week, and have a good month, and have a good year, and watch the next one.